Good morning and happy Saturday. Dave's still sleeping. So, how's everybody doing? Let's do a check-in, a checkup from the neck up. Are you stressed? It feels like the last month, the world is kind of really pulled back, and there's certain areas that are doing great. But, let's face it, we're still dealing with a pandemic. We're in a recession, even though the stock market still keeps going up, which makes absolutely no sense. And inflation seems to be part of what's coming down the road. And a lot of people are still out of work. And I would not want to be in sales right now, because I bet every phone call that you get is everybody's pulling on the purse strings. You can just tell that everybody's kind of like going, and that's kind of what's going on right now. So, stressed is the achiever's word for afraid. Achievers don't have fear, they get stressed. And their stress is that they're worried about what's going on. And almost always, the stress comes from not doing the thing that you need to do. And this is a thing that I'm great at. This is one of those things that I work on constantly, is I'll go to work and I'll get busy, but the couple of things that I really should do, I wait until the end to do those, and then if something comes up, then that doesn't get done. So I have to consciously decide when I first get there that I got to do these things at the beginning. And this was something that I struggled with for a long time. And so what I did is, when you finally face it, it's just like anything else. Like if you've got a pile of debt that you have to deal with, what you need to do is right from the beginning is face it. And when you take that first step to doing something about this issue that you're dealing with, that you're stressed about because you're not addressing it, suddenly the fear goes away because you've taken a step. Because usually it's a very simple process. Usually it's making a phone call, looking something up, whatever it is, face it and take that first step and then do your plan. How am I going to approach this? It doesn't matter if that plan's going to be your plan forever. It's that you have a plan and you start executing on it. Because once you start making steps in progress towards whatever that thing is, the fear is going to go away. Because now you're achieving. Now you're working towards your goal. And once you're working towards that goal, you're not going to be as stressed about it anymore. Because you've made steps, you've made progress. So what is it that you're really stressed about right now? What is the thing that you need to address, that you need to do? And then in your to-do list, or however you're capturing things, write that down. Write down what it is that you're currently stressed about. Is it debt? Is it you're worried about your job? Is it you're worried about making your sales numbers for next month? Is it you're worried about whether or not your kids are going to go off to school? You're worried about whether or not your kids are getting the time and education that they need, whatever it is. Write it down and then figure out sorry about that. Confidence comes from actually doing things. And so when we start, it always requires a degree of discipline. And there's an area of your life where you're incredibly disciplined. Everybody has it. Maybe it's health. Maybe it's what you eat. Maybe it's that you work out. There's an area that you're always incredibly disciplined. Maybe you read every day. Maybe you're very good at doing your to-do list. Maybe you're very good at keeping your house clean. Whatever it is, you've got something that you're incredibly disciplined at. So you know how to be disciplined. You just need to apply that same approach and habit to this other thing. Remember how we've talked about that if you find your recipe, you can sow the same seeds and you'll get the same rewards? So think about what you do with that area where you're very disciplined. How do you approach that? You have a specific way. What's the first thing that you see or that you hear or that you feel? And what is the next thing that you do? And and how does that all work for you? Go back to that moment and see how it is that you accomplish that particular task always. And what you're going to find there is you're going to find that you have very high standards. That's what you're going to find. But there's a process. In addition to having the high standards, you'll have a process. Learn that process and then apply it to this other area. What is it that you haven't done, and what's your plan? What do you need to do? Write it down and then apply the same thing. Soon as you start to apply that discipline, you'll start to take steps. Soon as you start to take steps, then you'll start to have confidence. As you get more confidence, you'll take more steps, which will give you more confidence, which will make it so that you take more steps. And before you know it, this thing that you've feared and been stressed about for a long time is no longer going to be an issue. And quite frankly, it'll happen quickly. This is an ongoing thing. We all have our areas where we just procrastinate, where we just don't do what we need to do. But if we're going to achieve the outcomes that we want, we have to do the things that we don't want to. And most of the time in life, when we're not getting the results, it's because we're not doing the thing that we least want to do. Most of the time, if you do the thing that you least want to do, that's going to finally get you the result that you've been looking for a long time. Make a decision today. Make a decision, all of us, me included. Make a decision that the first thing you're going to do during the day is that stuff that you put off. You're going to get it done. You're going to face it. You're going to take the steps every day. All we got to do is a little tiny 1% improvement. And a month from now, that's not a 30% improvement because it's a multiplier. You do 1% on top of the 1% each time. And in a month, quite frankly, in a week, you'll see dramatic changes. And a year from now, it'll be incredible changes. And 5 years from now, you won't even imagine that you were ever in this position. So write it down. Look at an area that you have discipline, that you're great at, that you always get done. Figure out your recipe for that area. Apply it to this other area, and then start to gain confidence. We all need to do the things that we're putting off, and then we'll be able to get the results that we're trying to get. Have a great Saturday, everybody. It's been raining here for like days. Last time it rained like this, Noah built himself a boat. So hopefully this is all going to end pretty soon. We're all in this together. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let's take care of each other.